Hello there, Internet. Dylan here, and I want to talk about No Game, No Life. Specifically, the movie that came out, I forgot when, last year, called No Game, No Life Zero, which is, well, first, if you don't know about No Game, No Life, it is an anime about a brother and sister, Shiro and Sora, Shiro, whichever way you want to put them, which way or the other, who are extremely competitive with games and kind of get transported to this world that where all conflict is not through fighting or or I should say the conflict between these races that are there are not through wars but through games. And now this movie, it takes place about 6,000 years before the original the original anime or season one. Hopefully, there's a season two. I don't know. I want a season two of it. But and now we're going to talk about the movie. First things first is for both the anime and the movie is the art style, which is honestly one of my actually favorite art styles because it's so colorful, which is not seen in too much. Like this is one where the art style is extremely good. If you want to watch an anime just based on the art style, I would definitely suggest No Game No Life in the movie. And yes, I have points on here. Some of this and it kind of this No Game No Life. It kind of had a lot of serious moments and it had a lot of hilarious moments, which had to do with a bunch of ecchi moments, but that's kind of the point of most ecchi moments is for mostly hilarity, and they definitely bring that with No Game No Life. Not as much in No Game No Life Zero. There's very few moments for that, but it kind of gets a good balance. There are still hilarious moments, but it doesn't use the ecchi moments. It just uses more. I guess you could say more PG kind of moments, but it also kind of has its own a lot more like these sad moments or serious moments as well, especially toward the end. Let's just say it's a bit sad. Now there are some of these characters that are they kind of resemble the character since it takes place 6,000 years before the setting of the anime. Some of the characters are kind of a few of them that I can think of resemble some of them from the original anime. Like I should say this: the main character is I forget names a lot. Riku, or at least that's what everyone calls him. Might be a longer name. I think it's just Riku though. Who finds an ex machina, which he names Shuvi, which is spelled differently. It can be that can be spelled SCHWI, which is what I saw when I watched it, but it can also be spelled SCHUVI, Shuvi. I mean that would make it more sense, but the other one it it just looks nicer. It looks unnatural, which is what Shuvi is. It's something that is not natural, and which is of course an ex machina. They end up kind of falling in love sort of together, sort of, because the Shuvi is trying to understand Brooke from her other ex machina and try to find out what a human heart, find out more about the human heart. I know that's a little cliche for some things, but I liked it. Anyway, there is another character who is technically Riku's sister, and I don't know if that's completely true or not. But I think they might be sisters. Which is, and her name is Kurone. Now for the resemblance. Now there's Riku, the main character, who resembles the main character Sora. Man, partly in like the style, coloring, not definitely not like, but the style of the character, probably not the perverse side a bit of Sora, but mainly kind of for sure the gaming side of wanting to be, but though not as good at first. I'm trying to keep it spoiler free as possible. But I just see, but like once I saw Riku, I immediately thought of Sora because they looked so much alike. Like the way like how like the face and the hair, it resembled Sora a lot. Like I said, not color wise, but the way it was all shaped and all that, it just resembled. And the same thing for Shuvi. Shuvi resembled Sora's sister Shiro a hell of a lot. The kind of lolly kind of character, for sure, definitely, for sure. Character-wise, it looked a lot. Not character-wise, art-wise, definitely looked very similar. Again, not color, but the way she was shaped, I guess you could say. Kurone, that one, I don't know. It kind of whenever I saw Kurone, I thought at first thought it took me a little bit to realize that this kind of resembles Steph, who is kind of like a pet, I guess, to Shiro and Sora in the anime. Although that's not the case in here, it just looks a bit similar. And the how she acts is a bit similar. And now one thing, and I also want to talk about my favorite part, which was when Shuvi decides to fight. I think it was one of the gods that are in there, Jibril. I think it was one of the gods. I might be wrong, but I think it was one of the gods. And it was like my favorite part. The reason my favorite part is because it was so dramatic, but it was also very explosive, literal and figuratively, both very explosive. Shuvi figuring some things out during the whole thing. It was just one of my favorite parts in the whole movie. Overall, this was one of my favorite anime movies that I've watched in a while. And that's about it. If you like this video, why not consider subscribing for more otaku content? And I will see you in my next video. Bye.